Now we have BlackBerries, and it has changed the way diplomacy is done. Things appear on your BlackBerries that would never be on an unclassified system, but you're out traveling, you're trying to negotiate something.
How times have changed. Well, while the Clinton camp continues to brush off this whole scandal as just another right-wing hack job, voters, I'll tell you, they're paying attention.
I've heard from quite a few people my age that they think you're dishonest, but I'd like to hear from you on why you feel the enthusiasm isn't there.
Well, I think it really depends upon who you're seeing and talking to.
You know, the reality is this young man is not alone. According to a new Fox News poll in New Hampshire, nearly a third of voters there saying honesty is the #1 factor that they're looking for in a candidate, which could be why she's losing more than 20 points to socialist Bernie Sanders 2 weeks to the day from the New Hampshire primary. Here with a look at what's ahead for Hillary Clinton, joining me, Democratic strategist Matt Littman and conservative commentator Gina Loudon. Good to see both you guys. Gina, starting with you.
Thanks, Trish.
How damning is this new video for Hillary Clinton?
You could say it's damning, Trish, but you know, the thing is that we know Hillary lies. We know this. We know she lied about Benghazi. We know she lied about the women that her own husband, offended in the ways that he did. And this is just a pattern with her. So the people that are with her, they're just accepting that they don't mind that she's the kind of person that will lie even when it puts lives at risk. And I think as the American voter starts to reflect on this, it's going to matter even more in the days to come.
We are already seeing evidence of her faltering there in New Hampshire pretty significantly, and also faltering in Iowa. Matthew, is she going to lose both these key states?
Good question. I'd love to know the answer, but I think the last poll I saw had her ahead by 6 points in Iowa. New Hampshire, it's a given that she's not going to win New Hampshire. It's Bernie Sanders' neighboring state, but I will say that the latest poll has her up by 14, 15 points nationally, and she's doing just fine against her Republican rivals. So I think she'll win Iowa. She's obviously going to lose New Hampshire. And then she's a big favorite in South Carolina and Nevada that come up afterwards. So I prefer it not to be as close, but I think she's in good shape.
She may be ahead right now in South Carolina, but let's not forget, a while back, she was ahead in New Hampshire. Bernie Sanders is nipping at her heels in a way that I'd say Matthew shouldn't be, given that he is a socialist and given that she was effectively the anointed one. What the heck happened?
Well, it is surprising that Sanders is getting as close as he is. He's running a really good campaign, but also he has a lot of enthusiasm from younger voters. He's really running on tax and unfairness issues. Hillary's running on a whole host of issues. And I think people see Sanders' solutions, younger people, as being somewhat more reasonable than you or I might see those solutions being. I don't think
I'm glad that we're in agreement on something. Let's talk about some of those solutions. I mean, this guy is a socialist who wants to tax the heck out of everyone. I mean, I got to tell you, I'm a little surprised at New Hampshire, where I was born and raised, because, you know, we have sort of a no tax mantra there. I mean, no sales tax, no income tax, and I would say our property taxes are pretty low considering we have no other source of income. And yet he is doing well in New Hampshire, and he's running on a platform where he would be taking more and more of everyone's paycheck. Gina, are people not paying attention here to the actual policy? Or are they just sort of blinded by the fact that it's ABC, anyone but Clinton?
I think you hit the nail on the head, Trish. I think that there's nothing especially special about Bernie Sanders per se, other than the fact that he's not Hillary and he's an outsider. And this is the year of the outsider because of people like Hillary and like our current administration and, frankly, like the establishment GOP. There is just such an aura, such a need by the voters for someone from the outside to come in. And he just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
I bet Joe Biden's kicking himself right now. Joe Biden's thinking, hey, you know, maybe I should have given this thing a shot. Matthew, what happens if she loses Iowa? I know you think she won't, but what if she does and she loses New Hampshire. She moves on to South Carolina, where she has had some support, but that is now more and more in question. A key local politician there coming out for Bernie Sanders just yesterday, and now we're hearing her bring up the talk of slavery reparations and how Bernie Sanders just doesn't support them, which to me smacks of desperation for South Carolina. I mean, what happens once we get beyond the next 2 weeks in these two critical states and we're looking at the rest of the country for her?
So obviously, again, I think Hillary's going to win Iowa, but it's going to be very, very close, and I'm not 100% certain. She's definitely going to lose New Hampshire. She's still up by a lot in South Carolina. If she loses the first two states, that margin will shrink, but her support in the African-American community is tremendous right now, and it shouldn't shrink that much. I think she's just going to be fine. And as this campaign goes on, not every state looks like Iowa and New Hampshire, and I think in the long run she's going to be okay. My preference is that she wins one of those first two states. I do think she'll win Iowa.
All right, Gina, Matthew, I'm going to see you guys in just a bit. Stick around. Meanwhile, I want to turn to another story. A Texas grand jury delivering a huge blow to the two